Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime,
This is SportsCenter.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. Game 5 of the NBA playoff series between Boston and Philadelphia is later on tonight. Series tied at 2 games apiece. Celtics sixth man Malcolm Brogdon says it's time to forget about the losses and last possession difficulties and just take care of business at home.
We're playing a good team. You know, there's a lot of respect on this end for that team in Philly, but these are games we should have won, and, you know, we're going to come out the right way tonight. It's a desperation mindset for us tonight. We have to have this one.
That is Malcolm Brogdon of the Celtics. The other NBA playoff game on the Tuesday schedule, Phoenix at Denver. That series also 2-2. Suns will be without guard Chris Paul, missing his 3rd straight game due to a groin injury. Pair of Game 4s in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight on ESPN and the app. 7 p.m. Eastern, Carolina at New Jersey. 9:30 Eastern, Colorado at Seattle. In baseball, the Mets have scratched Max Scherzer from his scheduled start tonight against the Reds due to back spasms. And Aaron Judge off the injured list, expected to be in the starting lineup for the Yankees against the A's. He's been out dealing with a hip injury since April 27th.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Alondra Villarreal. I'm going to be really sad when Paulie comes back. I mean, I love Paul. I want him back. Not that I want Alondra gone. I'm just going to miss that drop. Muso.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muse.
Hand slipped.
The old my hand slipped excuse. Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We got a ton to do. Pete Jenkins, 1 hour from right now. Lee Feinswag talking some beer. We got some future recruiting news, Saints compensatory picks, a ton to get to, but as we will do every day, we will pop a top. I closed it again really quickly that time, so I didn't want it to explode everywhere like it did yesterday. We'll pop a top on another AFR.
What do you do? You shaking them up? Like, what are they fizzing for?
I don't know. We'll pop a top on another AFR presented by Bud Light. I don't know why it did that yesterday, Muse, but I cracked it open and it fizzed everywhere. I'm not shaking it up.
Okay, well,
now, I'm not going to lie to you. That was sitting on this chair outside. It fell over, so that one might have shaken up. That's probably what did happen there. Anyway, we're thrilled to have you aboard with us here and excited to have LSU baseball back. So Jay Johnson had his radio show last night. LSU's going to play Northwestern State tonight in baseball, provided the weather holds. Actually, we had some guests touring the studio just a bit ago, and one of them asked Muse, like, "Are you in mourning right now?" All right, Muse, give us the latest. What is the weather looking like for tonight?
It was raining outside like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
And as the crow flies, we're a mile from LSU's
right.
campus.
I mean, we're not far. They might have a window around 7, maybe 7:38, maybe. But, I mean, even there, what I was looking at earlier, still like 45% chance of rain, something in there. So, they're going to be dodging drops tonight at the box.
I'll remind you, Muse, that that percentage chance isn't for the entire, for that'll blanket the whole area. It's that percentage chance that it could rain in some portion of that collective area. So let's knock on Formica. Hope we get lucky tonight with good weather and a reason. Listen to Jay Johnson. So Jay Johnson had his radio show last night. So you're going to hear Jay in this cut say tomorrow, which meaning today, Tuesday, the day of the game. Play number 3. This is Jay talking about what arms are available for tonight's game.
Well, we're going after to win the game tomorrow. You know, we haven't lost 2 games in a row all year until these 2. So we're going guns blazing with pretty good stable of guys. I mean, I told the team yesterday, one of the things I said after Sunday was everybody minus, obviously, Paul, obviously Javen Coleman, because we're working him back off the injury. Riley Cooper did a good job helping us save some pitching by extending a little bit yesterday. And then Guidry, threw 60-something pitches yesterday. So those 4 are out. Everybody else is in, and we're going to win tomorrow night.
How often, Muse, you listen to Jay Johnson audio probably more than anyone else because you have to listen to all the press conferences and cut audio. How often have you heard Jay Johnson all this season say, we're going to win tomorrow night?
I can't recall one time.
Right. He's pissed. He's pissed. I'm telling you, right? Like, do you remember when Jay was talking about getting Paul Skeens? He said when the season ends, he's like, I can't sleep. So back at the hotel after they lost the regional a year ago, and he's just like hitting refresh on the transfer portal, and he saw Paul Skeens' name popped in. He called him right then. Like, that dude don't sleep when they lose, like staring at ceiling tiles. They lose back-to-back, and the manner in which they did, you better believe, I know we do the whole midweek games, don't matter, this, that. Like, tonight, Jay Johnson wants to win tonight. Like, This is one of those, no, you got to get right. And if ever there were an opportunity, a get-right opportunity for LSU, it's tonight against Northwestern State, then bringing in Mississippi State this weekend. Now, I don't know if you heard the same thing, but when he ran through the pitchers not available, he said Skeens, Coleman, Cooper, Guidry. Did not mention Ty Floyd.
That's true, he didn't.
No, I know it's true he didn't. Do you make anything of that?
I don't, no. I don't. Just because everything else he said yesterday in his press conference about Floyd, or even on the radio show maybe, it sounds like Floyd is still very much anchored at the number 2 guy in the series. So I don't think you'd burn him at all tonight.
Oh, I don't think you burn him.
In any capacity. I don't think so, at least.
I agree, for what it's worth. What I have learned over the years, and by the way, Floyd threw 78 pitches on Saturday. What I have learned is that sometimes and Maneri was famous for this, if it's a bullpen day, he'd rather you go in a game and throw to one hitter in a game than throw a bullpen. Like, it was more valuable to, enter the game and throw against somebody else. Like, how many times in the 9th inning did we see 3 pitchers in the 9th inning? Because that's just how, again, that's a bit of an outlier, I understand. But maybe just a brief error by Jay, an error of omission there with not mentioning Ty Floyd. I don't think we see him tonight either. But something interesting, more than anything with that soundbite from Jay Johnson, it was about, hey, we're going to win tonight. Now, you heard Gavin Guidry's not available. This is the other thing he said that was very interesting to me, was about Gavin Guidry.
He's what we need right now relative to competitiveness and strike throwing. That obviously was the difference in losing on Saturday and Sunday. And so excited to continue to get him back out there.
My contention when we spoke on Monday, because everyone seemingly agrees at this point that you got to do something different on Game 3. And the question is who? Jay Johnson was asked point blank by the media on Monday, is Thatcher Hurd a candidate to go back to Sunday, to Day 3? Here's what Jay Johnson said yesterday.
I like him pitching the way he's been pitching the last few times.
Okay, that's enough. That's all I really need. He was asked point blank, is he going back to Day 3? And he's like, he's telling you, I think we found a spot for Thatcher Hurd. And to be very clear, you need Thatcher Hurd to contribute for this team to be what we all hope it can be. We all thought that would be as part of the rotation. It hasn't worked out that way, and they have tried him everywhere. Remember, they have tried him starting, they've tried him middle relief, they've tried him closing, they've tried SEC weekends, they've tried midweek, they've tried everything. And this is where the last 2 weeks he has found himself against Bama, and then this last weekend as well against Auburn at the end of a game. So don't mess with it. That's got to be what Jay is thinking. Don't mess with it. You found, and Gavin Guidry, meanwhile, has shown you he can do whatever. He started the midweek game last week. He's been a stopper for you. Like, he came in game 2, and he was the stopper. He came in game 3 for you and was the only guy who could throw the ball over the plate. It makes the most sense that Gavin Guidry would be your Sunday guy this week. How much can you get out of him? I don't know. But if that's the guy that you hand the ball to and say, hey, go throw the ball over the plate and give me 9 outs, it feels like that's where they're heading. One more from Jay Johnson on his radio show Monday night, talking about how the team handled the series loss to Auburn.
Didn't know how to respond at first because it's the first time that it's happened. And, again, that's a remarkable accomplishment that it's taken to May to lose a series with the schedule that we've played. But then after that, it was very like, hey, we'll address what we need to do to play better when we get back, which we'll do, and we'll start our meeting with tomorrow. But they also had a lot of final exams, and I made the decision to give them today off to get a handle on all of that, and then show up with a clear mind ready to compete. We have their attention all the time as far as doing the things that we need to do to improve, and when you have high aspirations for what you want to accomplish, they know what it takes to do that, and we'll get back invested in that this week.
Jay Johnson again on his radio show Monday night, getting ready. Tigers tonight, scheduled for Northwestern State. Keeping an eye on the sky with some raindrops around the area. Hopefully they get it in, and a look ahead to Mississippi State this weekend. We've got a ton to get to, and actually a ton of football today as well. A bit later this hour, actually about 30 minutes from right now, we're going to head up to Lexington. Only 2 more stops, right, Muse, on our SEC spring recaps. We have Kentucky today, and then tomorrow will be the defending champion Georgia Bulldogs. So, and then that's it for our SEC spring recap. So we'll head up to Lexington here in about 30 minutes from right now. When we come back, we know LSU still needs help in the defensive secondary. One of their targets, just as we started the show, committed to another SEC school. LSU has also extended an offer to another defensive back. I want to talk about that when we continue. Our show opens every day, brought to you by our friends over at Bud Light. Great sponsorship and partnership with our friends at Mockler Beverage. I love the Mocklers, man. Just candidly, what Mockler Beverage has done in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for 4 decades is incredible. The millions of dollars in donations. I dare you to go to any charity event where you don't see Bud Light and Mockler Beverage signs everywhere. So we had the opportunity to partner with Mockler and to raise an ice-cold Bud Light every day to open the show. I'm fired up to do it, and really excited about the partnership. To tell you much, much more as we go through the days and the weeks. So, whether you're at a crawfish boil, a ball game, whatever it may be, drink easy, Louisiana, with Bud Light. Sponsoring our show opens every single day here on AFR. All right, we'll talk a little LSU football when we continue. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Remember, if you're buying or selling commercial or residential, call Darren James and get your home sold. Remember, 73%, nearly 3 out of 4 people that list their home for sale by owner. This is an amazing statistic. A lot of people think, I'll do it myself, I'll save the commission, all that sort of stuff. 3 out of 4 people that list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor. And it could be for a variety of different reasons. Maybe you're not sure what price to list your home. Maybe you just can't be home for showings. There's gobs of paperwork maybe you don't know about. Whatever the reason may be. Save yourself the time. Save yourself the money. Save yourself the hassle. Have a stress-free home selling experience and get results with Darren James. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Think real estate. Think Darren James.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
There it the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 7.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So we are keeping a very close eye on the transfer portal here as we move forward. And it's been pretty noted that LSU is still seeking a couple of spots in the transfer portal for this cycle. And most notably, we've talked about offensive line, if there's an opportunity to supplement there. I think we're all keeping an eye on Notre Dame transfer running back Logan Diggs. It's a guy that played for Brian Kelly in South Bend. And from Louisiana, went to Rummel. We've talked about Logan Diggs. And I think there's a good opportunity that LSU lands him. Maybe a veteran tight end if an opportunity presents. But the spot that's been the most pressing need for LSU, where they are, I think, numbers-wise and experience-wise the thinnest, is in the secondary, notably at safety. And one of the players that LSU was targeting has now committed to another program in the SEC. Trey Amos, who has played at ULL, today, literally as we were starting the show today, the former Ragin' Cajun has committed to Alabama. So he will be in the SEC. He'll be in the SEC West. It just won't be at LSU, as Trey Amos has now committed to Alabama. He did take a visit to LSU last week. As a matter of fact, he was on an official visit to LSU on Friday. So, actually, forgive me, he was on an unofficial visit to Baton Rouge Friday. He was expected to take an official visit to LSU this weekend, but instead now is committed to Alabama. So it looks like that door is closed on LSU getting Trey Amos. He left Baton Rouge on Friday, went to Tuscaloosa, and apparently now has committed to the Crimson Tide. But that's not all the options. LSU's not out of options there in the secondary. And notably, or maybe most notably now, is a defensive back from Rhode Island named Antonio Carter. Antonio Carter put on his social media that he has an offer from LSU. And LSU is one of many. He's got offers from LSU, Florida, Notre Dame, and others. He's also taken visits to Wisconsin and Ole Miss. Entered the portal in April, so he's not new to the portal, and he's been taking his time looking at options that are out there. Just a little background first. 6'1", 200-pound defensive back. Again, was at Rhode Island. He's a graduate, so he's immediately eligible, be eligible anyway because of the transfer portal rules, but he's a graduate, and he's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. So potentially whatever school he commits to, signs with, he would be able to play at that school for the next 2 seasons. So it's not a one-and-done scenario. He's played a lot as well. This guy has played in 21 games there for Rhode Island over his 3 years there. He's a Florida native, so this is interesting. He's a Florida native, and the Gators and Billy Napier actually offered on Monday. So he's got a potential opportunity to go back to his home state and play for Billy Napier and the Gators. So LSU's got some competition, to be very sure. There's competition there with some big-name programs, Florida, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Wisconsin. He's from Florida. He's got a Florida offer, all that stuff. Here's what's interesting for me. When LSU was going through spring football, and throughout spring we had opportunities to talk to Brian Kelly, but also the coordinators. And when Matt House met with reporters, I would say a good way to say this is maybe cautiously optimistic about the secondary. Here's what Matt House said in spring.
Yeah, I think it's a process. Every day there's new growth and there's new expectations of Coach Kelly's program and what our process is for those guys and how to apply it. I'm excited about the potential of that group, but we got a long way to go.
Excited about the potential, but we got a long way to go. So, and by the way, Antonio Carter, like literally just 6 hours ago, posted the tweet that he's got the offer from LSU. So you better believe this is a situation where LSU knew they weren't going to get Amos, that he was going to Alabama, and so they threw their hat in the ring now with Carter. I don't know that for a fact, but you can sometimes piece things together, and it makes the most sense. Listening to Matt House talk about LSU secondary and say, a lot of potential, long way to go. It sort of underscores something we've talked about a good bit, which is I think LSU's talent this year in the secondary is going to be better than it was a year ago. I think the combination of Deuce Chestnut, J.K. Johnson, Denver Harris, bringing back Greg Brooks, Major Burns is healthy. I think Zy Alexander, they love Javian Toviano as a freshman coming in. The talent, like the projectability, the star rankings, all that sort of stuff is better than it was a year ago. And LSU had a lot of turnover. I mean, they had a whole new group a year ago, and they assimilated well and played well together. What Matt House said is right. There's a long way to go. Y'all, the fact that they're still at this point offering defensive backs in the transfer portal tells you they feel like they need more there. It's not that you can't roll with the dude you got. But if you can add someone who's got experience, has skins on the wall, that can add a veteran presence and experience and depth, you take it. I mean, LSU is a team that isn't just trying to win a few games. This is a team that is trying to compete for a championship. So when you're looking at your roster, if you're Brian Kelly and you're looking at your roster, you're going, where is any potential shortcoming? Like we've seen Major Burns. Major Burns throughout his career, Georgia, and now 2 seasons at LSU, Major Burns has played in 14 games with 10 starts. He just can't stay healthy. Like, when he's been on the field, he's been very good. It's been hard for him to stay on the field. So if Major Burns is injured, what are you left with? Probably a freshman or a redshirt like Jordan Allen. Like, so you need depth and options there. The fact that they're still going after transfers at that position tells you they need help at that position. So you look at a guy like Carter. He's played 21 games over a couple of seasons and has played some outside cornerback, has also played box safety. Remember, box safety is the spot where we saw Joe Fouché play box safety last year. Greg Brooks has played some box safety. So when I look at LSU's secondary and look at what you lost. Jay Ward made 60 tackles a year ago. Jark Bernard-Converse made 44, Garner 43, Joe Fouché 40. Fouché, of course, had the huge interception against Alabama in the end zone. Like, dudes that had played a ton of football. I mean, Jay Ward played for 4 years. Joe Fouché was a 4-year starter. Jark Bernard-Converse, 4-year starter at Oklahoma State, comes to Baton Rouge, plays a 5th season starter. Mekhi Gardner, dudes that played a ton of ball. And when you look at what you got back, it's Greg Brooks. Greg Brooks has played in 48 games with 44 starts in his career. Greg Brooks is as sure a thing as you got in that secondary. And that's about it. Specifically at safety, Major Burns, I mentioned, 14 games played with 10 starts. Sage Ryan, 18 games played, just 3 starts, primarily a backup special teams, doing some nickel behind Greg Brooks. And then it's Jordan Allen. It's Ryan Yates, the freshman, coming in. It's Kylan Jackson, the freshman, coming in. It's Javian Toviano, freshman. I mean, guys, when you look at the secondary, Greg Brooks is, especially at safety, Greg Brooks is experienced. Veteran. Dude, you know what you got. Everything else after that's a question mark. Can Major Burns stay healthy? Is Sage Ryan ready to live up to the hype? Can you see freshmen like Allen or Yates or Jackson step up and have a big year? Toviano. All questions. If you have the opportunity to add a player who's played a ton of ball and can be versatile in your secondary, you do it. It's why they're searching. So, again, the bad news is Trey Amos, guy went to ULL, transfer portal, committed today, Tuesday, to Alabama. On the same day he commits to Alabama, LSU offers Rhode Island defensive back Antonio Carter. We'll see if they can get him in the boat, because Tigers need help in that secondary. If there is an Achilles heel on that defense, they attacked the transfer portal at the defensive line. We've been through that a million times, all the interior players, and then adding edge guys like Swinson and Agofu. We know what they've done at linebacker. You move Harold Perkins inside. You bring in Omar Speights. You got Whit Weeks coming in. They love him. You got numbers at the first 2 levels of your defense. And I feel really good about cornerback. Safeties at one spot. And so we're getting really nuanced now. But that's what happens when you're a really good team, a deep, strong, talented team. You get into the nuance, because the nuance is what could prevent you from being a really good team and a great team. And that's what LSU's aiming for here in 2023. So we'll keep you posted on what Antonio Carter does. A transfer out of Rhode Island. Got the LSU offer today. Tigers still looking for help in the secondary. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. They do it all at Relief Windows. They do it better than anyone as well. Get to ReliefWindows.com, or better yet, go see Brandon Holly. Go see the whole gang over at Relief Windows. They're right there on Airline Highway in Prairieville. You go south on Airline in Prairieville, you pass Highway 42, about a quarter mile on the right. You can't miss it. Giant, gorgeous showroom. They always have associates Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Just walk in. No appointment needed. Go see our friends today at Relief Windows. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. They do it all at Relief Windows. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. All right, let's see. We're going to go around the SEC. When we come back, we're going to head to Lexington here in about 15 minutes from right now. We're going to check in our penultimate SEC spring recap, looking at the Kentucky Wildcats. Our buddy Jeff Drummond will be here. And Pete Jenkins in 30 minutes from right now, legendary defensive line coach. Excited to have Coach Pete back on the show like we do every year about this time. He's been hopping around some of the biggest college football programs in the country, doing his the work that he does with them, some coaching and some coach training. So we'll talk to Coach Pete here in about 30 minutes from right now. Glad to have you hanging out. Tuesday edition of AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Tell you every day to go to getgordon.com, but today I'm going to tell you to go to gordongives.com. That's gordongives.com. Of course, Kim Mulkey, part of the G team. Kim Mulkey is unmistakable for her flash, her flair, her pizzazz, her presence. A lot of that has to do with her wardrobe. Well, Gordon and Kim are teaming up with the New Bern boutique for a New Bern shopping spree with Coach Mulkey and gifted by Gordon McKernan. You want to enter? It's simple. Go to gordongives.com. gordongives.com. You'll see right there on the homepage where you can register for free to enter the Kim Mulkey experience. It's a shopping spree with Gordon and Kim Mulkey at the New Bern boutique, where Kim gets all of her flashy outfits. You can register right now at gordongives.com. If you've been injured, it's not your fault. You need representation. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAFlooring.com.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off, plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on all new 22 Ford F-150 SCA trucks, and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we got a little breaking news. Going to go around the SEC in just a second, but Matt McMahon and the LSU basketball program doing work. According to Joe Tipton and the graphic that Joe Tipton put out announcing the commitment. Devin Pryor, a 3-star small forward for the class of 2024, has committed to Matt McMahon and the LSU basketball program. 6'7", 180. He's a rising junior out of Houston. So, again, he's finishing his high school sophomore season, high school sophomore year. So, he got 2 more years of high school. But so 3-star, and you may kind of roll your eyes a little at that, the number 204 overall prospect in the country. But especially with basketball players, I think part of what you look for is fluidity, projectability. A lot of times you could look at a guy that's going to grow into his body. So Pryor's got offers from A&M, Virginia Tech, Colorado, Oklahoma State. So he's got offers from major college programs. And I think a lot of these programs are looking at him as a guy that's 6'7", 180, long, athletic, who's going to continue to grow and develop and has a skill set that as he continues to grow and develop into his body physically, is going to keep getting better and better. From the Houston area, and this is at the On3, the report from On3, there's a quote from Devin Pryor, who says, he said, LSU is the closest thing to a second home for me. My roots run deep there. I feel as if I fit in their system. The environment that is provided by players I encountered in Coach McMahon and the staff is something I greatly appreciate. They also note that Devin's father is originally from Shreveport, and the Pryors are lifelong LSU fans. So a guy that's committing early in his recruitment process, but one that as the recruitment process progresses is probably one you're going to see climb in the national rankings. Again, still a young guy, a rising high school junior, 3-star small forward for the class of 2024. So he'll sign next year for the 2024-2025 season. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Our SEC spring recaps, we'll pull into Lexington, Kentucky. We'll talk to our buddy Jeff Drummond here in 10 minutes from right now. Right now, though, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions.
Texas A&M! A former Boston College and Colorado State running back David Bailey has committed to Texas A&M. Started his career at BC. He's got over 2,400 rushing yards in his career, 26 touchdowns as well over the last 5 seasons. Entered the portal back in October as a grad transfer, just 1 year of eligibility, remaining 6', 225. He's a 3-star back in 2018. Remember, of course, Texas A&M losing Devon Achane, so this gives them some depth. Interestingly, A&M's offensive line coach is Steve Adazio, who was the Boston College head coach when he signed David Bailey back in 2018.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Transfer Noah Thomason has committed to the Georgia basketball program out of Niagara University. Announced his commitment to Mike White and the Georgia men on Tuesday. Had a stellar season with Niagara this past year, averaged nearly 20 points per game, 19.5 points per game. 39% three-point shooter, nearly 50% from the floor. He's the 4th transfer for UGA in this class.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy football has landed a Division II All-American, Nazir Forkrion. Say that 10 times real fast. Moose, you try to say that.
Forkrion? How many times?
How does Vanderbilt continue to, from Simi Shitu to Anthony Orji,
gotta shout out
Nazir Forkrion,
New Orleans Saint Anthony Orji.
You darn, I'm fired up about him too. By the way, black and gold represent black and gold Vandy, black and gold Saints. Forquarion, Forquarion.
Nazir Forquarion.
Forquarion. Can we get a pronunciation guide in the Division II Grand Valley State media guide? I'm sure you have one handy.
Yeah, let me just reach in my backpack right here and pull that one out.
6'1", 185. 2 seasons with the Grand Valley State's mascot?
The Lakers.
You looked this up.
Yes.
You saw it earlier today.
I did.
You jerk.
But, I mean, look, Brian Kelly came from there. We've heard a lot about Grand Valley State. We should all know that.
Did you know they were the Lakers before today?
No. Of course not.
The guy whose name we can't pronounce, he's a defensive back. He's going to Vanderbilt. From Grand Valley State to Vanderbilt. All the SEC ties with Grand Valley State. A lot of baseball tonight in the conference. South Carolina is playing as we speak against North Florida, leading 1-0, bottom 2. Vandy hits the road to take on Louisville in a ranked-on-ranked midweek matchup. That game is televised on ESPN 2, by the way, tonight. Tennessee hosts Austin Peay. Kentucky will host Tennessee Tech. Bama plays Troy in Montgomery, Alabama tonight. Mississippi State welcomes in Memphis. Auburn hits the road. They're heading to Birmingham to take on Samford. Texas A&M hosts UT Rio Grande. Can you just hit the Texas A&M line just because I want to hear it again?
Texas A&M!
So good. And, of course, LSU hosts Northwestern State, weather permitting. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. One of the things that became so apparent during COVID, the need for people to work remotely, but also to stay in contact with clients and employees and coworkers. Gulf Coast Office Products can help with interactive whiteboards. Learn more at gcopnet.com. It does not matter how big or small your business is. There is literally, you can have a 2-person business. There is an affordable option for interactive whiteboards for your business. Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Real quick, we're gonna get to Jeff Drummond here right after the break. We'll continue our SEC spring recaps, looking at the Kentucky Wildcats, and then tomorrow we'll wrap up with the defending champ Georgia Bulldogs. The Big 12, they have a first-year commissioner in Brett Yormark, and he is shaking things up. Like, they plan to play conference games in Mexico. Understand what's happening to the Big 12 right now, right? I mean, it's very formative. Texas and Oklahoma are leaving the league. You got 4 new teams coming in after this, or for this season. Central Florida, Cincinnati, BYU, and Houston are coming into the Big 12. And then next year, Texas, Oklahoma are leaving. So knowing that the 2 standard-bearing brands in your league are leaving, you've got to do something to maintain relevance. So they're going to play conference games in Mexico. One way they're trying to shake up their broadcasts as well. They're going to try to modernize their broadcasts. I'm sure the coaches aren't going to be pumped about this, but they're talking about having live in-game interviews, more access to locker rooms before and after games, and live audio of the coaches before the game and beyond. I understand that sometimes necessity breeds innovation. Look, COVID was a great example of that, right? We were all working from home. People had to innovate, and we found things like Zoom, and we fundamentally changed the way that a lot of us do business and different things. And maybe the Big 12 right now is trying a lot of different things to maintain their relevance once they lose Texas and Oklahoma to the Southeastern Conference. And they may stumble upon some good ideas. I hate in-game interviews. Think about how awkward it is when an NBA coach at the end of the quarter has to go stand there by Doris Burke and do the quarter interview. It's just terrible. I hate watching Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, and they got a player during the game with a microphone. They're doing an interview. If you've watched any Sunday Night Baseball, you've seen that the past couple of years. I hate it. I loathe it. It's going to take one time for a guy to commit an error, to be distracted, and that'll be done. I don't think you gain anything by it. The only thing I like, if you watched any XFL, they actually have the coaches mic'd up, so when they're calling a play, you can hear the coach calling the play. I don't think that'll ever fly at the college level. Maybe it would. I'd love to see it, but we'll see what ways they might innovate. So look, Skycam was an innovation of the original XFL back in 2001. I mean, they had the Skycam, the camera over the huddle and everything like that. We got to see that point of view. Now everybody uses Skycam. So maybe the Big 12 will stumble upon something. I don't know if I love what they've suggested so far, but time will tell. All right, quick break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1 with our SEC spring recap, looking at the Kentucky Wildcats.
AFR.
You know, Kentucky blue. NOLA Flooring has that Kentucky blue as well. No true connection to Kentucky. We're talking about Kentucky, and we're talking about New Orleans Flooring, and they're blue. NOLAflooring.com, that's the website. Remember, you got 2 great locations. And New Orleans Flooring, of course, they got the Metairie location. And then Airline Highway in Prairieville. So if you're driving on Airline, you're going south in Baton Rouge. You're driving south into Prairieville. You pass the Prairieville Walmart. Just look to the right. I mean, it's on the same side as the Walmart. Right when you pass the Walmart, it's right there. Blue awning, blue sign, New Orleans Flooring. Can't miss it. More than 1 million square foot of product in stock at New Orleans Flooring. And 12-month financing, same as cash. Yo, we talk so much about interest rates and what that's doing to everybody right now. Think about New Orleans Flooring, where you're already saving 40, 50% on flooring, and they're offering you 12 months financing, same as cash. Nowhere else but New Orleans Flooring. NOLAflooring.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Man, I'm excited. We'll talk to Coach Pete Jenkins here in about 14 minutes. One of our all-time favorites, man. And Coach Pete every year comes on the show, and we promote the offensive-defensive line camp that goes down in Thibodaux at the Nichols campus, a camp I went to when I was in school, and so many of you have as well. So we'll talk about the Louisiana line camp with Coach Pete. We'll just talk a ton of football as well. And I'll give you a little teaser. Every year, Coach Pete Jenkins, he's got a list of schools that always invite him to come and sort of work with their players and coach the coaches. He did a week with LSU, a week at Oregon. Next week, he's going to Kentucky, South Carolina, Georgia, Bama, and Auburn. So, Coach Pete is pushing 80, but it goes to show you, how deeply respected Coach Pete Jenkins is, that all of these places continue to bring him in every year to work on technique with their players, to coach their coaches. He's an incredible resource, one of my favorite people. So when we get a chance to spend a few minutes talking to Coach Pete, love to do it. So we're going to do that coming up here right after the top of the hour. We're supposed to be talking to Jeff Drummond. We're having trouble getting through with him on the phone. Is that what's going on? Okay. We're supposed to knock out our spring recap looking at the Kentucky Wildcats. You know what? If Jeff calls, it'd be great. Would love to have him and to talk to him. So you could punch him on through if we get it. Just a quick look at Kentucky. And it's not, I guess, super relevant for LSU that LSU and Kentucky don't play this coming year. But a year ago, Kentucky with Will Levis had such grand expectations, right? You had Will Levis, you had Chris Rodriguez. There was, let me rephrase that. I don't want to say grand expectations. But last year, at the start of the season, is about whenever we started to see the hype for Will Levis. That as a prospect, they were looking like, okay, that's a guy that's going to get first round mentions and contention. And he was there at SEC Media Days last year, so we had a chance to talk to Will, and You had Chris Rodriguez, who had led the SEC in rushing the year prior, and there were, I shouldn't say grand expectations, but there were expectations around a team that had won a New Year's Day bowl game. And look, they went 3-5 in the league, and they went 7-6 overall. It just didn't go well for Kentucky last year. A lot of that had to do with injuries on the offensive side, a depleted offensive line. But it's what you are when you're Kentucky. It's going to be hard to stack good years. Look, Devin Leary is the transfer quarterback from NC State, who's transferred into Kentucky. And how Devin Leary performs, keep it in mind, Devin Leary is a 23-year-old, man. This is like not exactly the Hendon Hooker situation, but this is a guy who signed with signed with NC State, redshirted in 2018. He was a 4-year starter there at NC State. Has thrown for over 6,800 yards in his career, 62 touchdowns, and now he is a plug-and-play replacement for Will Levis this year at Kentucky. So what does that mean? Like, you had a guy that was a projected high draft pick last year, and you went 7-6 overall. How good does Devin Leary make you year to year? That is the question surrounding Kentucky. You look at their schedule, and out the chute, they play Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, Akron, and they're at Vandy. Like, you should start 4-0. And then you get Florida at home, and you go to Georgia. So, if Kentucky's going to make any kind of noise, they should start 4-0. They'll get their big test at home against Florida, see if they can win that one. If they do, you're talking about a 5-0 Kentucky team going on the road to Athens, and I don't think that'll go well, but we'll see. Then they get Missouri, you get Tennessee at home. Of course, their permanent cross-divisional is Mississippi State. That's in Starkville. Then they get Alabama, and they finish on the road at South Carolina, at Louisville. I mean, if you're Kentucky, you got to start fast because you're probably not going to finish fast with Bama at South Carolina, at Louisville down the stretch. But this is one of those teams where you look at a couple of those coin flip games. Can you win at South Carolina? Can you win at Mississippi State? Can you win at Vanderbilt? Can you beat Missouri at home? If you do that and you handle your non-conference with Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, and Akron, now you're looking at a team that could probably get to 8 wins in the regular season. And if they do that, that's a really good standard for Kentucky if they can get there. So, again, Devin Leary at Kentucky as the transfer is sort of the big transition. That's the big – okay. That's kind of the big question there. But maybe – what? I'm sorry. What were you telling me? Okay, well – Jeff might be calling. We only got about 2 minutes left in the hour, so I don't know if we'll have time to get to it. So, all right, Pete Jenkins coming up right after the top of the hour. Let me remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. If you want to see 2020, do what I did. Call 924-2020. Call the Williamson Eye Center. Listen, you don't have to make some grand commitment. The thing that I would just encourage anyone to do, if you've ever considered LASIK, is go for the consultation. Go sit down with Dr. Blake Williamson. Let him explain the LASIK procedure to you. Let him let you know if you're a candidate for LASIK. There were a lot of people over my life that told me I wasn't a great candidate for LASIK, so I always assumed that they were right. Met with Dr. Blake, and lo and behold, I was a perfect candidate for LASIK. If you want to live your life without contacts or glasses, there's a way to do it. The Williamson Eye Center can help, and they've been doing that for people in Louisiana for more than 70 years, 3 generations. It's the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We got Coach Pete Jenkins coming up after the top of the hour, and we are going to talk a little bit more about this. If you haven't seen the latest from the Saints today, actually, this isn't from the Saints. This is per our friend Brooke Kirchhoffer is the one who has the report. Apparently, Foster Moreau has a contract offer from the New Orleans Saints. And that is an interesting development in the story. We all know, of course, Foster Moreau was on a visit with the Saints whenever he got his cancer diagnosis, which he's fighting right now. But again, Brooke tweeted, of course, Brooke with WWL TV and hosts the New Orleans Football podcast. She cites sources saying Foster Moreau has an offer on the table from the Saints, but Moreau is also receiving attention from other teams. So the Saints need tight end help, y'all. And it's one of the reasons why the Foster Moreau conversation continues to percolate and why it's a really interesting one. Because if you look at NFL free agent tight ends, the list isn't exactly long and illustrious of who's available right now. Hayden Hurst, those unsigned, Cameron Brate is probably the most well-known. He's at 31 years old, and certainly he's on the back end of his career. Jeff Swaim, Mercedes Lewis, who's 38 years old. Sethan Carter, Adam Shaheen, Ryan Griffin, Kyle Rudolph at 33, who face-planted this last year in Tampa. You see my point? Like, it ain't exactly like you got great options. So Foster is probably the best option, provided he's able to play. And if you're the Saints, you got Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill, but then, Lucas Kroll, Joel Wilson, Miller Forrestall. You need help at that position. And I don't know where you get it, sans signing Foster Moreau or trading for a veteran free agent tight end or trading for a veteran tight end. So Saints have work to do there. We'll see if Foster Moreau could be the answer. All right, Sports Center coming back with Coach Pete Jenkins next on AFR.
AFR.
Mother's Day is Sunday. Gents, have you taken care of mom yet? If not, it's okay. I can help. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. A Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, near Perkins. Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. And online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. Voted the nation's best aesthetic practice. If you have not taken care of mom yet, y'all, a gift card could be the answer. Let her choose from their menu of services, which she may want. If it's Botox, if it's lip filler, if it's any of their many state-of-the-art laser treatments, from laser hair removal, laser tattoo removal, great skin treatments as well, products. Help mom glow and look her best this Mother's Day. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help you get there. Again, 2 locations, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, or online at theantiagingclinics.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Start your day with news and newsmakers. Start your day with traffic, weather, and local stories that are important to you. Kickstart your day every day. Mornings with Brian Haldane from 6 to 9 a.m. Weekdays on Talk 107.3.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. The NBA playoffs continue tonight. Couple of Game 5s on the schedule. Philadelphia at Boston. Series is tied at 2, and the Sixers, of course, have league MVP Joel Embiid. But ESPN's Stephen A. Smith says Philly needs to make up for sending Jimmy Butler away to Miami in 2019, or else they will rue the day.
The 76ers would have been back in the finals, and they probably would win the title if Jimmy Buckets had stayed there with Joel Embiid. That's how important Jimmy Buckets is.
That is Stephen A. Smith on First Take earlier on ESPN. Also tonight, Game 5 for the Suns and the Nuggets. That series tied at 2. Phoenix without Chris Paul for a third straight game as he deals with a groin injury. In baseball, the Mets have scratched Max Scherzer from his start against the Reds tonight due to neck spasms. Aaron Judge coming off the IL for the Yankees. He'll be in the lineup against the A's. The Braves put Max Fried on the 15-day DL with a strained left forearm.
Coming up Wednesday, as the Warriors face elimination, I'll tell you what I need to see from them if they want to extend this series to at least a Game 6. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Alondra Villarreal. Musa. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Fines Walk here in about 15 minutes. Got some LSU recruiting talk 1 hour from right now. I think, a representative list released for the 2025 class. And we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I think you're going to enjoy this. We're going to lean into Brian Kelly's national recruiting prowess. Why that's going to matter coming up for LSU. That's a 1 hour from right now. Right now, though, I love this time of year because every year around this time, we get to visit with Coach Pete Jenkins, legendary defensive line coach. The Louisiana Line Camp is coming back, and that means we get to spend a few minutes talking ball with Coach Pete. How are you, Coach Pete?
I'm doing very well. Where are you?
I'm in downtown BR, man. Where are you?
That thing's swinging down there, isn't it? I'm telling you.
Man, we are. Look, man.
Your background music has changed a little bit since.
Well, Alondra's filling in for Paul, so we did get a little bit of a little like sort of rock undertone there, which I enjoy that a little bit, Coach.
I liked it. It was good.
Hey, yeah, Coach, I was preparing to have you on today, and I think I maybe did you a few years generous. I said, Coach Pete's approaching 80, and he's still rocking and rolling. Coach, I just looked it up. Are you 81?
Hey, don't tell anybody, Matt.
Man, why are you still going? I look at him like, still at it, still working, still coaching. Why? What drives you at this point to keep going?
I'm scared to stop. Yeah.
Like what? It's just you wouldn't know what to do?
It's going to happen, man. You know what I mean? No, it's something that I do. I've enjoyed, 55 seasons of it. Whatever. I love working with young people, first of all, and to try and being helpful to young people in their pursuits, and hopefully somewhere along the line, give them a good example of something, whatever. And then I like to teach, and I like to teach skills and things. So, yeah, man, I feel very blessed to still be involved as I am. And people still want to hire me and things like that. So I'm going to do it as long as I can do it. I've been blessed with good health, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And that has a lot to do with it also. So I feel good. And I just enjoy doing what I'm doing.
Well, you're the best at it. And a lot of young people are going to get that opportunity at Louisiana Line Camp. I want to talk about LSU, and I want to talk about some of the other places you've been going. We'll talk some ball, but we got to talk about the camp though. Something that I went to 25 years ago as a high school football player. I was still going strong. Like, fill everybody in on this year's camp.
Well, it's made some evolutions over the years. I think the thing probably our coaching staff is phenomenal. And I would say this to you, Ben. Not only have we progressed in quality of coaching and everything, but we have some dedicated guys. You know what we tell the campers, and you might remember this, we're here for only one reason, and that's to help you get to be a better football player. Okay? So that permeates throughout the whole camp. Coaches that come down there, I got a lot of pro coaches that come and work in the camp. Now, they don't come to sign autographs. They come and work.
Right.
And everything. But our mission down there, and it's not a recruiting camp. We don't measure them, test them, strength test them. We don't do anything. It's all about them. It's all about them. We're not auditioning them for a scholarship or what, but it's all about them. Our goal is to help them be as good as they can possibly be. So that's kind of the mission of the camp. I love the camp because that's where we started. And like I say, it's evolved in a lot of ways. But the mission of the camp started that way, that we wanted to help guys be as good as they could be. And everybody's ability is different, a little different level of ability and everything, but we want to help them be as good as they can be. And we want that experience we don't teach scheme or anything like that because we want to honor the high school coach and his program. We don't teach how to play the trap, how to do this. We don't do that. It's all about hands and footwork and eyes and tackling ability and stuff like that. So it fits any scheme that when they go home, they'll just be a better technician. That's what we're hoping.
Hey, look, Coach Pete, I know it's not a prospect camp because y'all let me go back in the day, man. I know that much.
Y'all, but we saw you and we said no.
Coach Pete Jenkins is our guest. So LouisianaLineCamp.com. That's the website where people can go register, LouisianaLineCamp.com.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. We're big time now. We got a website and everything.
I love it. You can go to LouisianaLineCamp.com. There's a register button. You can register your son individually. If you're a coach or a high school coach, teams go. I know whenever I went, our whole team, offensive and defensive linemen, both sides of the ball.
Yeah. And that's a great idea. And you know what a lot of coaches do? They come down there and watch your guys, and then when we get done with practice, they do a little individual work with their players. Like if it's a defensive line coach, he may take them over there and do a little work with them. But it's a really good idea to bring all of them, to be honest with you. Yeah. But the thing that I'd like to emphasize, the quality of the camp first, and then the dedication of the camp. Man, that's not sales pitch. That's not, I'm serious about that. I tell the coaches when I first talk to the defensive coaches, I tell them, look, 2 prerequisites. Number 1, that you like kids. Number 2, that you like coaching kids. And so I think that's that's my message about the camp today is just how committed we are to being helpful. Yeah. And I think you.
Of course. It was a great experience. I mean, look, it's been 25 years. I still remember my experience at line camp, and I would recommend it to any high school football player to go down.
Thank you.
Of course. Coach Pete, so we breaking up a little bit on the phone. Well, I had you for a couple of minutes, so I did want to ask you a few. I know you spend a lot of time during the spring, and you make your rounds, and I know you get to work with LSU. You're going to work at Bama and Auburn and Georgia and Kentucky and Oregon, a lot of different places. I would love your thought on the work that you got to do with LSU this offseason, in particular with so many new defensive linemen coming in.
Yeah. Well, it was an unusual visit. It was 5 days, like all of those visits are, but they had not started spring practice. Okay, and so the defensive line coach Jamar, can't remember the boy's last name.
Jamar Cain.
Mm-hmm. He was there. Okay, he and Gerald were there, and so I spent 5 days. 10 hours a day working my tail off to teach him, Jamar. Mm-hmm. And about 3 weeks after, it might have been 2-3 weeks, he left and went to Denver. Right. So maybe I ran him off. I don't know what happened. but anyways, I really worked hard because Matt House is a damn good football coach now. Let me tell you, I've been around Matt at Kansas City, Kentucky, St. Louis Rams, and now LSU. I know Matt for a long time. Matt is smart, and he is a good football coach, okay? But it didn't look like what he wanted it last year up front. And Jamar was of another school of thought, okay? And so Matt wanted him in the off season to give an idea about how we do things and whatever. So I did work awful hard with him. I found him to be a nice guy. Gerald Chapman, who was his assistant, was in there with us. Actually, Gerald was a little bit ahead of Jamar because Gerald had come to visit me in Miami in January last year and everything. So, but it was I worked hard on it, and he up and leaves and everything. But the good news for me, they hired a boy from the University of South Carolina who I've been working with for about 4 years. And I like him, and I think he and Matt had worked somewhere in the past together. Mm-hmm. And so Matt's very comfortable with him. And he does the stuff that all of us do and everything. So Matt's going to be a lot happier and a lot better off. And the linemen are going to get preparation for not only LSU, but for the next step for the guys that are capable of making. So I think it's a win-win, to be honest with you. And I did like Jamar, but I think it'll be better. Jimmy Lindsey will be more what Matt has envisioned in the defense. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. Sometimes continuity on staff absolutely matters. Jimmy Lindsey, of course.
It matters. And when people don't see things out of the same eyes, sometimes it's really difficult. But so it worked out. It worked out for the best, and it worked out for the best for the kids and for LSU.
Coach Pete Jenkins is our guest again. LouisianaLineCamp.com. One more for you, Coach. I'm gonna ask you this. I like to ask you all the time. When's Nick Saban gonna up and retire, man? When's he gonna be done?
He's going, Matt. His energy and his. Now, in the 23 years I've been fooling with him, he has really mellowed. Okay, and when I say that over in Alabama, they look at me mellowed, and I said, pronounce that word. It's mellowed, not mellow.
Right.
Okay, but he's changed so much. What hasn't changed is that fire in his gut. That desire to excel, hey Matt, that has not changed now. Now, he's like every other head coach that I visited, those 7 schools, every one of them hate NIL. They hate the portal. I mean, it's changed the face of college football, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, you know, I'm just an old timer. I'm telling you now. I started pro football when I coached pro football. Money is the root of all evils, as they say, and it changes the dynamics between players. If they hired me at your station, and I went in there and didn't have much radio experience, no radio experience, and they paid me more money or whatever than they're paying you, you wouldn't be happy about it. You would not be happy, would you?
Look, Coach Pete, I love you, man. I'd be fired up. I know what you mean. No, I know what you're saying. Of course.
It's just hard. It's hard on guys, and it's hard on them in pro football. But it's even more difficult for a college guy because they're not mature enough to handle that damn money. I mean, you have a lot of guys that haven't had 2 dimes to rub together, and all of a sudden people are putting all kind of money. So it's really tough. I think that's the thing right now that's more of a problem with him than the football or the hours or the workload or anything like that. I think but he's not by himself now. Everywhere I go, it's the same problem with head coaches. I mean, it's a lot to deal with, man. It really is.
Coach Pete Jenkins. Coach Pete, I got to run to a break, man, but I always love when we get to chat. And promise me you'll come back and we'll talk a little more ball. Maybe sometime in the summer would be great.
Absolutely, man. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Y'all get to LouisianaLineCamp.com. Again, if you've got a son who plays high school football anywhere in the state or even outside of the state. I know we always had players from the state of Mississippi that would come in. It's LouisianaLineCamp.com. It's June 17th through the 20th. It's down at Nichols. Coach Pete's just the best, man. The staff, the counselors they have there, the coaches are just awesome. I mean, like, you know, a few days in Nichols, 3 days that I'll remember forever. I still talk about fondly. It's why every summer when I have a chance to get Coach Pete on, talk a little ball, and promote the line camp, I'm always happy to do it. So, coaches, get your team down there. I mean, get your group together to go. I mean, the camaraderie of that is probably the thing I'll remember most. That and learning how to kick slide. But LouisianaLineCamp.com. LouisianaLineCamp.com. All right, it's after further review. We're a little late. We'll start the lead next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Check them out online. Remember, y'all, electric vehicles, they're not coming, they're here. And EV production continues ramping up with all the manufacturers. If you own a business, if you have a commercial property, you got to consider putting in an EV charger. People drive EVs, they got to have a place to charge them. You install an EV charger, there's tap-to-pay options. ProCharge manages the whole thing. So this becomes passive revenue for your business. If you have an apartment complex, amenity for your tenants. You got an office complex, amenity for your employees. If you're a restaurant, it's an amenity for your customers. Maybe a way to bring people into your shopping center. EV chargers, they're not the future, they're the now. Electric vehicles are everywhere. Be ahead of the curve. Learn more at ProChargeEV.com. Commercial or residential, ProChargeEV.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Lee, sorry, man. Went a little long there with Coach Pete Jenkins. Getting to you a few minutes late. How are you?
Well, you should, because he's fabulous. One time when he was in between jobs, which, of course, he's had so many, and then he takes off, and you think that's it, and then he's going to retire again, come back again. We sat next to each other on a flight, and it was at least a Baton Rouge to Atlanta flight, but it might have been someplace different from Atlanta, someplace farther. We talked and talked. I listened mostly, and he was just a fascinating guy. He has wonderful opinions about a lot of things, and his coaching style is so different than so many guys, and his success. People should realize that you don't have to be a froth at the mouth, raving lunatic to be a football coach. And true. He's just, you've been there, like you said, in his camps, and you've seen him practice and run practices. He's just, a cerebral, do it this way kind of guy, and fun and friendly, and just, you probably should have taken my whole segment for Pete. He also said something else that struck a chord with me and it's part of the bigger picture, but he talked about kids getting money, and all of a sudden somebody who may not have had any has a lot of it. And I can't imagine that that's not going to be a problem for a lot of kids who are suddenly NIL flush if they come from nothing and all of a sudden have a lot. And you can only hope that they're getting good guidance. And you know that in many cases that's not going to happen. And I think back to 1992, Shaquille O'Neal finished his sophomore year at LSU, and he was the National Player of the Year. We were in, I think it was Indianapolis for the Final Four, and he was the AP National Player of the Year. And we were at some function. It was me and him and his stepdad, Sergeant Harrison, and his mom, Lucille, and we were all walking. It was just the four of us walking back. It was nighttime, and I said it was just me and Shaq ahead of his folks. And I said, are you going out? And he said, he goes, I really like school. He goes, I am ready. But he said, there's a lot of money there. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit because it's only been 100 years since that. And he said, I don't know what I would do with the money. And he said, I'm better off being in school. And it was kind of interesting that he said that. And of course, could you imagine what a Shaquille O'Neal would have made in the NIL times? Because just think of how many kids just wore a T-shirt with his number and name on it at LSU basketball games when he was there. I mean, he would have been just printing money. Well, and to his credit, just to finish the thought, to his credit, he spent so much time as an LSU student and then afterwards learning about what to do with money. He's made tremendous investments, and I think back to that time when and what Pete said just struck a chord with me there.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to ask a follow-up where you were talking about Shaq and NIL, and what he might have been worth. I mean, I can look at Bronny James and Livy Dunn, who have NIL valuations, on three estimates. And look, I mean, I've been told, I mean, look, Shannon Terry, who's the founder of On Three, he's even said, like, those are estimates. And I don't know if that's a definitive number of what these athletes make. And I mean, I've been told it's not, that some haven't approached the number. It could be just what evaluation is. But what would Shaq be?
Oh God. If he were a player of his both physical dimension, physical abilities, and personality, and the way people gravitated to him and loved him in today's world. But the thing about, you take a player like Shaq or the other two you mentioned, like Bronny James has been rich his whole life.
Right.
I mean, he was born into a dad who had a ton of money. And I was so impressed, with his dad saying, hey, look, this is the first person in our family who's going to go to college. And that's kind of interesting. And, Livy Dunn comes from, suburbia of New Jersey. We have to assume that Livy Dunn was by no means impoverished. I don't know anything about her family life and what her situation was, but let's assume that she wasn't. Now, her portfolio now is probably the greatest on campus, including Brian Kelly's. I mean, maybe, I don't know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But, and then Shaq came from such a structured existence where his, the stories are well documented about his growing up and how he was held to task by his parents and everything else. But there are a lot of people out there where, again, you don't have, I almost said a phrase I shouldn't have phrased. You had nothing, and then now you've got something, and what keeps you from spending it frivolously, spending it on things that you shouldn't spend it on, maybe going to a casino, which is totally legal. There's nothing that says an LSU football player who's 21 years old can't take his money and go spend it on gambling.
Yeah.
I'm just, hypothetically, and you hope that they don't spend it on things way worse than that. There have been times in my adult life where I've had good years and there's a bunch of money there. And I'm like, and I have to put the brakes on myself. And I'd like to think of myself as a semi-responsible adult. I've probably bought another pair of sneakers, which I really needed, I'm sure, but whatever.
I've done that.
Yeah. You can't ever have enough sneakers. We know that.
And I don't know that necessarily this is what you're saying. The NIL conversation is an interesting one, and I have it often because of the NIL podcast that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Rosters to Riches, by the way, on your favorite podcast app. Please go subscribe up. I just because young people having money may be problematic doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to earn money that they're able to.
So absolutely. And this is a way better problem for them to have some money than just the opposite, where, you're a kid with nothing and you come to college and they go, oh, yeah, you're on scholarship. And look, you're getting 3 squares and you get to go to class and everything. Yeah, but you don't have enough money to go to the movies or buy that extra pair of sneakers or take a girl on a date. Now players have that ability. I mean, there are whole football programs, as you know, that are awarding X amount of dollars to every kid on the team. And, I've cited this example for you countless times. I mean, Kirk Feinswag was on a full scholarship to play college basketball and still cost me $7,000 to $8,000 a year for him to go to school each year so that he could have just basic things. So, that's the nice side of it for them. But it ties kind of into another subject where if you talk to any old-timey coach, and I don't mean like a Pete Jenkins, but I'm talking about guys maybe who are still in it. And have you heard the phrase from coaches say to you, this isn't what I signed up for? And there's 2 things that they didn't sign up for. One was NIL and how to manage it and knowing that you have to have it. And it's not just football, basketball. Look, it's softball, it's volleyball, it's a field hockey at the other schools. Sneaked in a volleyball without a ding. Ha ha. So there's
Muse is asleep at the wheel.
Yes, there's 2 of them, by the way. So thank you. But gosh. So the other thing that they tell you too is about the transfer portal, and it's a bigger story. And really, if I were still a sports writer for a big media outlet like this, it would be an unbelievable story to talk to coaches. And you could just do it at LSU, for example. How have you learned to manage this brave new world with the portal? So like with LSU, this incredible influx of all new players again. here's a guy, Matt McMahon, who built his career on stability and building this fundamental base to get to this point in his basketball life where he got the LSU job, like the big payday, if you will. That guys like him who were toiling away at different levels and built their way up and did a great job of it. And then he inherits a program where, the big payday comes with it, finally. And now he has to learn not only how to navigate the SEC and the bigger world of things, but how to rebuild his roster every year. It's a whole, people talk about, we've got a culture here. Well, how can any team have a culture anymore if you're bringing in half of your roster every year? But how do you carry that over? You don't have the seasoned veterans saying, no, this is how we do things. No, it's every day on October 15th, the first practice, it's going to be, guys, this is a basketball. And there's just so much that you have to do. And that's a really interesting story, and the two kind of feed into each other for me, that I'm watching the way coaches navigate this in all sports. But, since there's so much focus on football and basketball. I mean, the transfer portal brought LSU women a championship. You take away the transfer portal, and they're bottom third, probably the SEC last year. That's how good they became.
I don't know that I'd say bottom third of the league. Look, I mean, in year one under Kim Mulkey, they had the largest year-to-year turnaround in win total in the country. So Kim Mulkey
All right, let's say
was
middle of the pack. Let's say middle of the pack.
I still think you're overestimating the quality of play and underestimating the importance of Kim Mulkey. But they wouldn't have been a national title contender. That much I would completely agree with you on.
Right, and I just use that as
Sure.
in this case almost as an isolated example. There's just so much of it though, and it's just a bigger story and a bigger picture. And the older coaches will tell you the phrase exactly is, "This isn't what we signed up for," and hey, you either adjust and change. That's what life is, or they get out. And so
Bingo.
But in the case of like a Matt McMahon with what he's doing with LSU basketball, he's got all these players coming in. Lots of them are good, but teamwork and synchronicity, and again, whatever culture means, anymore. It'll be. I'm really looking forward to watching how he blends this new group of players into next year's team.
Yeah.
I'm also real intrigued how the kid named Will Baker, the 7-footer who's on his third school, but he's a good player. Anytime you can get somebody with that height and skill set, that's a game changer. The other guys I don't know enough about.
I have this conversation every time the portal or NIL comes up and coaches bemoan this not being what they signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
The last person in the world for whom I will have any degree of sympathy are the millionaire adults who are now inconvenienced with how they build a roster.
But no doubt.
I do
and
not care at all that coaches complain about NIL or transfer portal. Cry me a freaking river.
No, but the story, though, is how did they learn how to navigate these waters? And the ones who do it the best are the ones who will do the best.
Complete
no doubt.
fact.
Yeah. Quarterback, bingo from who's going to be a quarterback at every different school every year to the basketball players who, this kid, he's on his third team, and he's not unique in this regard. There's
Good
others.
for him. He got great. He got better opportunities. Good for him.
I hope he got some of that NIL money we're talking about.
And now,
with it, I know what if he were old enough, he could. Go ahead. There you go.
And now that he has been in college as long as he is most certainly old enough to buy himself a beer.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Got my belly out to here. I could not refuse it. I could really use it. Beer.
All right, take it away.
Oh, was that you pounding, like doing some drumming along with this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, go to sports225.com to check on who we have on the show this week, and if I can think
Can't
I'm
wait
to
to
keep
find
going
out.
for the summer. Yeah, you never can. Yeah. Careful, or I'll have you come on next week to finish up the season.
I'm ready.
The hot weather came, and it coincided nicely with my choice of beer, the Samuel Adams Summer Ale, Citrus Wheat Ale. Samuel Adams has just, the last couple of years, just crushed it on every one of its seasonals, from Oktoberfest to the Christmas stuff to the winter, and now the summer ale, citrus wheat ale, 5.3%, a beautiful golden hazy color. It has what it calls Hallertau, Mittelfreu, noble hops. But listen to this, Matt. It has West African grains of paradise, lemon peel, lime peels, and orange peels.
Okay.
The heck are what are West African grains of paradise?
No clue.
Anyway, Samuel Adams Summer Ale. Get it. You'll like it. It's perfect on these hot days that we are now probably into until November. And good price point, as always, on Samuel Adams. And, Matt, it's been a pleasure, as
Lee,
always.
the pleasure is all mine. We'll talk again next week.
Bye, guys.
That is Lee Feinswag. This is AFR. We'll continue next.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at the Watermark and the Renaissance, two of Baton Rouge's premier hotel properties. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance in Southtown. The Watermark is gorgeous. What an achievement. It's Baton Rouge's original skyscraper. If you haven't been into downtown Baton Rouge to check out the Watermark, just go. It's so cool. They've taken what was the original Louisiana National Bank building. They've kept so much of the structural and historical integrity of the building while modernizing other parts of it, making it Baton Rouge's premier hotel. The bar inside of the Watermark, the lobby bar, is awesome. Great place to have a cocktail after work, going out for a night on the town. Make sure you stop in and have a cocktail at the bar at the Watermark Hotel. The Gregory, exquisite dining experience. Get the duck entree. Trust me. The charcoal oven in the Watermark Hotel kitchen. The smell of that charcoal wafts throughout. It's amazing. It's the Watermark Hotel in downtown Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on all new 22 Ford F-150 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
What's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
LSU baseball, we're inside of 2 hours from scheduled first pitch. Muse, you said you were looking at weather in the break. Do we have any change in the forecast as you've noticed?
Not really.
Okay,
Not really.
awesome.
I'm
Thanks
just
so
saying,
much.
like it still looks like there's a bit of a window from like 7 to 9, but I mean that's not long enough to play a baseball game.
It is if you run rule a team.
It is if you run rule a team. And look, Matt, they're kind of in need of a run rule. Just get the mojo back a little bit, right? I mean, who'd say no to 10-0 tonight?
And you can play in the rain. You're not going to play in the
lightning, though. That's always a.
We'll see. LSU Northwestern State scheduled for a 6:30 first pitch. Hopefully they can get it off tonight and play the game. Jay Johnson wants to play, trying to get a feel good back, a little mojo back, as Muse mentioned, after losing back-to-back for the first time all year. Back-to-back loss for the first time all year of this past weekend. Tigers looking to get one tonight against Northwestern State, then head into the weekend against Mississippi State, who's dead last in the SEC, as we've said many times. So hopefully they get that one in. If we get an update as we move throughout the next hour and 20 minutes or so, we'll pass it along to you. The Saints are going to have rookie minicamp on Friday, and that's only part of kind of keeping an eye on the roster right now. They're obviously, now that the window has passed for free agent signings to affect the compensatory pick formula, you might well see the Saints and other teams be a little more proactive in free agency. One name worth keeping an eye on is tight end Foster Moreau. Brooke Kirchhoffer from WWL tweeted, citing sources, tight end Foster Moreau has an offer on the table from the Saints. She notes Moreau's also receiving attention from other teams. So, of course, Foster played at LSU, number 18. We know all that. Drafted by the Raiders, spent his first 4 years, one in Oakland, and then the last 3, obviously, in Las Vegas. He was there with Derek Carr, so there's a notable connection there. All of that makes sense. From New Orleans, we get it. Saints need a tight end. He's from New Orleans. They need the prototypical attached tight end. All the things about Foster Moreau and the Saints make total sense. And, of course, as you recall, Foster was in New Orleans on his visit, going through the medical, when they made the Hodgkin's lymphoma, the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma diagnosis of the 26-year-old. This is what Dennis Allen said back at the owners' meeting at the end of March, so about 6 weeks ago, when he kind of described finding out about Foster Moreau's diagnosis.
I was driving in that morning and, got a call from Michael Parrington, and I'm asking him, was Mickey at breakfast with Foster? And he said, no, you haven't heard yet. And I said, no. And he told me what had happened. And so first thing is you're shocked. And then the second thing I think of is I think about our medical people and the lives that they've saved, specifically John Amos. We found the heart condition with Nick Fairley. We found a heart condition with John Dornbos. The offensive lineman that we claimed from Buffalo, we found a heart condition with him. And now with this, look, you don't like to find these things, but yet our medical people being able to find these things and really save people's lives it's amazing.
This is Dennis Allen at the owners' meeting. It's pretty jarring. And he's right when you go through the number of things that they found. I forgot about it. I don't even think about Nick Fairley. I forgot about that. I remember it, obviously, but I wasn't thinking about it top of mind. But, and I say it often, the medical is the most important part of the combine, and so many of these visits and things like that. And you think of it in terms of, okay, like, are your bones and joints, orthopedically, are you sound? But they've literally saved lives through a lot of these medical evaluations and physicals as well. So this is very different with Foster, obviously. But remember, Foster did an interview on Good Morning America with Michael Strahan. It's the first and only time that he's spoken publicly about his diagnosis and everything. And the very positive news about this from Foster was kind of, when he talked about the prognosis.
It looks positive. It's at stage 2, so it's spread from the initial location. But it appears to be a slow spread, and we should be able to get rid of all of it.
slow spread, should be able to get rid of all of it. And when Foster detailed his treatment timeline, it would kind of put him back around October. So, and could you sign him, not have him for, say, the first month of the season, knock on wood, prayers that all goes well and according to plan in every best case scenario? I don't know that the Saints have a better option, y'all. Like they signed Juwan Johnson, and I'm excited about Juwan Johnson. This is a guy who came in as a big-bodied wide receiver, started his career at Penn State, went to Oregon. Saints signed him as an undrafted free agent. He was ready, willing, and able to convert himself to tight end, and he's learned the position, and he's transformed his body, and that's fantastic. I mean, he's been a really good pass-catching tight end. And Taysom Hill, I would say, is another guy who's humbled himself and done the same. A guy who's is now kind of listed as a tight end, although he's not going to be your traditional prototypical attached tight end. Man, you traded Adam Troutman, which means the only other tight ends you have on the roster are Lucas Kroll, Miller Forrestall, a couple of undrafted free agents, and Joel Wilson, an undrafted rookie free agent out of Central Michigan that's going to be trying to make the team in camp. So you really don't have a great option. And when you look at the free agents available, like Cameron Brate is probably the most notable free agent, Kyle Rudolph, some veteran guys whose prime, they're well past their prime and quite honestly aren't even your prototypical attached tight end that you're looking for. So, I mean, unless if the Saints are willing to make a trade for a tight end on another roster or wait until they go through training camp to see if there are tight ends that get cut from other team that they may be able to sign or waived, I don't know that they have a better option than trying to sign Foster Moreau and hoping and praying that his prognosis continues to improve, and maybe you can add him to the roster and he can be a contributor at a position of need for the New Orleans Saints. Okay, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Traction Sports, TractionSports.com. Remember, y'all, getting close to the summer, if your son plays baseball, age 3 and up, starting with the T-ball at 3 years old, Traction has their summer baseball leagues. They are now taking registration for Traction Summer Baseball, ages 3 and up. Go to TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. You see the 2023 Summer Baseball League tab. You can get all the info that you need right there on the website. League game nights are on Monday, starting June the 5th through July 17th. So you're talking about 6 weeks, practice on Friday, game on Monday, so not super intense like you do when you're in season, and a great way for your son to keep playing ball throughout the summer. It's at Traction. Again, Traction, where champions are made. Go to TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. For more info, Traction, where champions are made. Okay, let me knock out our final break of hour number 2. Muse will have Tigers in the pros. In 13 minutes, right at the top of hour number 3, the ESPN 300 for 2025 has come out. So not this coming recruiting class, but the following. The first ESPN 300, top 300 prospects in the country. What this tells us about the recruiting class in Louisiana for 2025. I have some pretty big takeaways that I think are significant relative to Brian Kelly. We're going to get to that here in about 13 minutes. Wrapping up hour number 2 next on AFR.
AFR.
Man, I'm going to take 60 seconds and remind you about Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. You can always get by the website to learn more about Rouse's. You can always get by the website at Rouse's.com for their weekly ad, for their coupons. Remember, a couple things. Sunday's Mother's Day, so you want to get that cake for Mom for Mother's Day? They got them. They have a beautiful floral department as well at Rouse's. So you want to get flowers for Mom? You can do it at Rouse's. And graduation season is here. You want to get that specialized cake for the graduation party for your family, for your grad? You could do it at Rouse's. Of course, Rouse's, we say it all the time. This feels like home. It's like walking into the neighborhood market when you go by Rouse's. If it's their seafood department, if it's their in-house butchers, maybe you just want to go pick up dinner for the family tonight. They've got hot and boiled seafood. They've got prepared meals that can be grab and go. You can pick out something for everyone at the deli. One place. It's at Rouse's, Rouse's.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Get 3.99% financing at Corval Toyota in Opelousas on select 2023 models. We also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
What's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look.
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. We're going to talk some LSU recruiting in about 10 minutes from right now. But right now, Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Big night for Alex Bregman last night, and boy, he needed it. Got him back above the Mendoza line. 2 for 4 for Bregman. DHing last night for the Astros. One of the 2 hits was a triple. His first of the season. He would drive in a run, come around to score as well. The Astros lost 6-4 to the Angels. Astros kind of stink this year, for being honest. It's early, but they're not great.
Yeah, you sent the Cy Young winner to the Mets, and you keep losing free agents.
He kind of stinks this year, too, though, because he can't play.
I mean, point is, like, you can't keep losing great players. Correa's gone. Verlander's gone. Like, you're not the same team.
You're not. Alex Lang last night for the Detroit Tigers. Pitched a third of an inning. Got the out, ended the game. Didn't get a save, though. It was a 4-run game. They threw him in there to throw 8 pitches and get 1 out.
Okay.
Feels a little bit of a waste, but Langer did the job.
We talked about it yesterday and having him on the show, and I was like, don't tell me he blew something like blew a save last night. No. Then I'd be like, oh, no, we talked about having him on the show, and he blows a save.
No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Good.
That did not happen. Did you watch the Yankees last night?
I watched because I got home And I had to take Drew for a ride in the car because I was riding in the car. So I watched, I believe, the 7th on.
Did you see DJ? Oh, you didn't. Yeah. That was in the 6th. He went yard.
I did not see him go yard, but I watched him close it out.
1 for 4 on the night. Run scored, 2 RBI, his 4th home run of the season. 2-run shot with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th, and the Yankees win at 7-2.
We're coming, Muse.
Okay, 19-7. I mean, 19-17.
I wish it was 19-7.
Yeah, I mean, most people do. I mean, I know I wish the Red Sox were 19-7.
Nobody cares about the Red Sox. It's about you and that stupid team.
The Rays are pretty good. That stinks.
So selfish.
Yeah. Some news out of the
Quit making it all about you, Muse.
Some news out of the WNBA. Indiana Fever, they have waived forward LaDasia Williams. Yeah, LaDasia played in their only preseason game. Long season preseason in the WNBA. Just one. Played 4 minutes, scored 2 points, but is looking for another option, the second round pick out of LSU.
One game.
One preseason game. Yeah. That's Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Mother's Day is Sunday, gents. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Hey, we're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com with 30 offices across 11 different states. You can't go wrong with a great local company that's continued to grow and expand while maintaining their local ownership. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They are looking for technicians, so I would always encourage you, look at the careers page on their website. Michelli is growing. They need people. You can learn more at Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. You know, we talk so much about making you and your business more efficient with Michelli. Something that, you know, should take 7 to 10 days are in some places taking 8 to 10 weeks. Michelli will, why waste the time? Call Michelli. In some instances, their local rep can come to your place of business, get your devices that need to be calibrated, bring them back to the lab, calibrate them, return them to you. You're talking about a matter of days instead of weeks. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. You have something that needs to be weighed or measured, they can help. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Online at Michelli.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A parent reporting a nightmare situation for his daughter at Estruma High School. A teacher under investigation accused of having sex with a student at school. The sheriff's office launching an investigation. Hear what the alleged victim's father has to say. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Moon Griffon is back. The voice of Louisiana politics makes his return to Baton Rouge. Catch the Moon Griffon Show weekdays from 9 to 11 a.m. on Talk 107.3.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robbins. The NBA playoffs continue with two more games this evening. Philly at Boston in Game 5 with the series tied at 2, and Phoenix is at Denver. That series also 2-2. Phoenix going again without Chris Paul. Third straight game he's out, dealing with a groin injury. Phoenix has won the last two, and Kendrick Perkins says the reason is Devin Booker. Perk says Booker is the best player this postseason, and he's got numbers to prove it.
Right now, D-Book is number 1 in transition points, number 1 in points on drives, number 1 in points on pull-ups in mid-range, number 1 in isolation points, and he's shooting 61% from the field for the entire postseason.
That's Kendrick Perkins on ESPN's First Take. We got a pair of Game 4s in the Stanley Cup playoffs coming up a little bit later on ESPN, beginning 7 p.m. Eastern with Carolina at New Jersey. Hurricanes lead that series 2-1. Colorado set for playing at Seattle. 9:30 Eastern, the Avalanche lead the series 2-1.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid! Alondra Villarreal. Muso. It's so fitting, the two of your personalities. The way that just plays perfectly. Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Bottom of this hour, we'll take a closer look at LSU and Northwestern State, hoping they get that game off at the box tonight. Rain in the area. Here's hoping it holds off and they're able to play ball tonight. Talk some Saints, compensatory picks. We kind of know what they're looking at, what that may mean for next year's draft. Get to that here in about 15 minutes. Earlier today, Tuesday, ESPN released their initial 2025 recruiting database. So the Junior 300, the rising juniors, the class of 2025, the top 300 players in the country. I have a couple of sort of sweeping takeaways here. I'll run through some of it that may be relevant. So number 1 player in the country, Bryce Underwood out of Belleville, Michigan. He's a quarterback. David Sanders, number 2, out of Charlotte. He's an offensive tackle. Ryan Williams, a wide receiver out of the state of Alabama, is committed to Alabama. So he is the highest ranked committed prospect for 2025. If you're looking at the highest ranked player from the state of Louisiana for 2025, again, this is in the ESPN 300. You got to go down to 29. It's Harlem Berry out of St. Martin's Episcopal in Metairie. He's a 6 foot, 185-pound running back. That would certainly suit LSU's needs well to have a great running back in the state of Louisiana. And as you scroll through this top 300, what you notice, the next player from Louisiana is Jabari Antoine, a cornerback out of the Berry, New Iberia, Westgate High School. You don't have a ton of Louisiana presence. The other players from the state on the list for 2025, you got to go all the way down to number 186, where you find Corey Amos, an outside linebacker out of Opelousas. Keelan Moses out of U High is at 194. You can keep it there, Alondra. 212 in the country. James Simon out of Calvary and Shreveport. He's a running back. And there's two more. Russell Babineau, a wide receiver out of Lafayette, is number 228. And then the only committed LSU prospect in the ESPN 300 for 2025 is Brett Bordelon out of Newman, the offensive lineman. He's number 287. He's the only LSU commit and the last player from Louisiana. So if you're scoring at home, the first ESPN Junior 300, the top 300 players in the country for the class of 2025, there are 7 players, only 7 players from the state of Louisiana. By contrast, a year ago, you had nearly double that number. You had 13 players from Louisiana, 5 in the top 60. So you had a bumper crop in Louisiana for the class of 2023. And look, it was pretty obvious, right? The way that Brian Kelly built this class. And I mean, look, the day Brian Kelly took the LSU job, the first thing he did was he went 5 minutes to Catholic High and saw Shelton Sampson and Emory Jones, right? And then he drove over to Liberty Magnet and saw the guy that would ultimately be his running back signee, went to Woodlawn and saw Ricky Collins, and went to Zachary and saw Kylan Jackson. I mean, y'all, you had not only great class in Louisiana, but in Baton Rouge. That's not even talking about Lance Hurd up in Neville. I mean, you get it, right? It was a great class right here in Louisiana, and Brian Kelly was able to recruit to that. When we look ahead to 2025, it's clearly not super deep and talented in Louisiana. I'll point out that even last year, with the great bumper crop in Louisiana, a lot of those kids didn't come to LSU. Remember, like Arch Manning went to Texas. Eli Holstein went to Alabama. Derek Williams went to Texas. I hate to say missed, because you can't really miss on a player. You didn't sign a lot of guys from Louisiana that were great players. Some of them you never had a chance, right? You never had a hat on the table with Arch Manning or Eli Holstein. So it's what Jaden Ausberry, linebacker from UI, went to sign with Notre Dame. You were never getting Jaden Ausberry. So Brian Kelly had to lean in to the sort of national recruiting inroads that he had made during his time at Notre Dame. LSU only signed 10 kids from Louisiana among the high school signees, not talking about transfer portal. 10 Louisiana prospects for the 2023 class. But there were big-time players. Hurd, Sampson, Collins, Caleb Jackson, Kylan Jackson. And you had big players from Louisiana that LSU signed, but there were only 10. So you did have to go outside of the state. Deshaun Womack was from Maryland. Javian Toviano's from Arlington, Texas. Jalen Brown from Miami. Jackson Howard from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Whit Weeks is from Georgia. Mac Markways from St. Louis. You get the point. And it looks like in 2025, it's probably going to end up having to do the same thing. And this was interesting. When Brian Kelly met with the media, this was in December of 2022, right? In that December signing period from this past year. He kind of talked about recruiting both Louisiana and recruiting nationally. Give a listen.
When you're LSU and you have a brand that is so recognizable throughout the entire country, you can't have blinders on either, where you go, I'm just in Louisiana and I'm not going outside it. So our scope and vision is national, but it's not like we're pulling, 4 guys out of every state. we're going to have a heavy influence in the state of Louisiana like we should, but we're going to know where the best players are in the country as well. And you'll see on signing day, they're from the Midwest, they're from the Northeast, they're from Florida and Texas and California. And I think that's representative of saying, yeah, we're going to national recruit, but we're going to pull our base.
I think that is a great way to look at it, but different years, it's going to be different, meaning when you have a bumper crop in Louisiana, the majority of your class is going to be Louisiana guys. And then you'll cherry pick nationally where you need to supplement with great players. Some years, it's going to be the inverse. And it looks like 2025 may be the inverse, where you don't have the great, deep, talented class in the state of Louisiana, so you're going to have to cast a national net. And that's one of the benefits of Brian Kelly having been at Notre Dame. Because at Notre Dame, you don't recruit the state of Indiana. There is no talent in Indiana. If you want to go see a great prospect, you are getting on a plane and flying to see that great prospect and trying to bring them to South Bend. It's just the nature of it. Like if you look at Notre Dame's 2023 signing class, 4 from Texas, 2 from California, 2 from Illinois, 2 from Massachusetts, 2 from Missouri, 2 from North Carolina, 2 from Ohio, 1 each from Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, New Jersey, Tennessee, and Virginia. You ain't getting in a car to recruit at Notre Dame. You're flying, how many states is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 states. Notre Dame's recent 14 states represented in Notre Dame's most recent signing class. A lot of times, Brian Kelly is going to benefit from being in Louisiana and recruiting this state. Most years. Sometimes he's going to have to lean into his experience recruiting nationally at Notre Dame, and in 2025, it may be one of those years. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. You know where to find them, ShawBillsTire.com. If you need tires, and at some point, we're all going to need tires, and on days like this when it's storming rain outside, you're sliding all over the place, you realize when you need tires. Shawbills can help you out. Go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. You could search name brand tires at wholesale prices. The best tires on the road for the cheapest price possible. That's what they do every single day at Shawbills. You can learn more at ShawBillsTire.com. You can check out the promotions tab at ShawBillsTire.com to find out all the great pricing options at Shawbills and what deals they have available for you. If you want to schedule service or chat with an associate, you can always do it at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, it's After Further Review. Going to keep an eye as well on the LSU baseball game scheduled tonight against Northwestern State out at the box. Look, Northwestern State obviously would have had to make a decision early today if they were going to get on a bus and drive to Baton Rouge for this game, knowing there was inclement weather. If that wasn't going to happen, they would have made a call earlier in the day before Northwestern State got on a bus and came here. So you better believe they're going to do everything they can to get this game in tonight, regardless of what the weather does. So we'll keep an eye on the sky and keep looking forward to it here in the next 45 minutes or so that we have remaining in the show. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, with the window now closed for free agents to affect the compensatory pick formula in the NFL, we kind of have a really good sense of what the Saints' 2024 draft pick lot is going to look like and what that may mean for the Hoodats coming off of next season. We'll do that next. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. It's Pluckers every Tuesday. Great opportunity to get by Pluckers. Tonight, you got LSU Northwestern State. If you're going to the game, want a bite to eat before or after, go to Pluckers. Pluckers is on Nicholson, just south of campus. You don't want to dodge raindrops? No worries. Just go watch the game at Pluckers, either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet, all season long. If the game's on TV, they'll have it at both Pluckers locations. Remember, Tuesday, kids eat free. It's a great way for the family to eat affordably at either Pluckers location. You want a night out, get the family together, get them by either Pluckers location. Every Tuesday, kids eat free. And Tuesday at the Nicholson location, our guy Hunt Palmer, a.k.a. Hoot Palmario, hosting sports trivia starting at 8:30. So get them by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on all new 22 Ford F-150 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I totally forgot what we were going to do. Oh, that's right. My bad. Alondra and I were talking and came back. I was like, oh, yeah, look, I got to start talking about radio stuff again. NFL is going to release the schedule, the full schedule on Thursday. We know that. Here's what we also know. I would love to give attribution here. I don't know who published this. My apologies. Gosh, dog it. My apologies. I always try to give attribution when I can. I don't know who published this. But let's see. The Saints are going to have the second easiest strength of schedule in the NFL next year. Something worth filing away. The Saints' opponents a year ago had a combined 427 winning percentage. Falcons, by the way, have the easiest strength of schedule at 417. Now, it's worth mentioning that strength of schedule based on last year's records. You're going to have teams improve, some get better, some get worse. That's just kind of the nature of the NFL and how things work. So make of that what you will, but that would certainly seem to be a benefit for the Saints. Remember, you play your division, which Tampa is tanking. Atlanta, I don't think, is any good. Y'all know how I feel about Carolina. I love what Carolina. I don't love it as a Saints fan, but objectively, what Carolina has done, I think, have positioned themselves to be very strong. Remember, Saints and Panthers had identical 7-10 records a year ago. But also remember, you do play not only the NFC South, but you play the AFC South this year. Meaning you get the Texans, the Colts, the Jaguars, the Titans. So your schedule does shape up nicely if you're the Saints. So road opponents, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks, Texans, Colts, Rams, Vikings, Patriots. We know the Patriots game is going to be in Germany. The home opponents, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks, your division. Then Bears, Lions, Jags, Giants, Titans. So just interesting to keep an eye on with one thing to file away. We're going to get the full schedule on Thursday, but we do know the Saints will have the second easiest strength of schedule based on last year's opponent heading into next year. All right, it's after further review. I want to talk. I know this is so weird to say, hey, I want to talk 2024 draft, but we now know what the Saints' likely draft compensation is going to be for the compensatory picks. I'll get to that in just a second. I want to remind you about Hudco Roofing, y'all. The weather has been awful, and all day we have a Hudco text chat with all of us in it, and what's been buzzing all day is that there have been confirmed hail strikes. Shenandoah in Baton Rouge, Lakeview in New Orleans, Manchac in Prairieville. If you're in any of those areas, and listen, the weather has obviously been inclement, and yes, there have been confirmed hail strikes today, let us come to a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. I want to remind you as well, from the smallest residential repair to the largest commercial roof replacement, we do it all at Hudco. So go to HudcoRoofing.com. Hudco's been in Louisiana for more than 20 years. Started up in Bossier, statewide, Bossier, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, wherever you are. Go to HudcoRoofing.com. There's a phone number at the top of the page. Just look for the accompanying area code. Or if you'd prefer not to talk to anyone, that's fine. You can fill out the inspection form right there on the homepage. Someone will be in touch with you pronto to get you scheduled. An inspection costs you nothing. You don't even have to be home. It's literally just permission for an inspector to get on your roof, to walk it, mark it, chalk it, to see if you have damage. And I'll remind you one more time. Well, probably not one more time because I'll do it more. So many people say, I'll wait till storm season to see if I have roof damage, this or that. So please, if nothing else, just check your homeowner's insurance policy, because so often your wind hail deductible is going to be less than your named storm deductible. So waiting for a hurricane to see if you have damage, to see if you can fix your roof or replace it, could cost you more than something like today where there was wind and hail in the area. Again, go to the website. It's a great resource, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right. So the window has now closed for free agent signings that would count against your compensatory draft or your draft pick compensation. If you're not familiar, when you lose free agents, I'm going to way oversimplify this. When you lose free agents in the NFL and don't sign an equivalent amount or value, the NFL compensates you with draft picks. That's how you get the compensatory draft pick formula. The NFL does not disclose the exact formula. The person who seems to be closest in predicting it annually is Nick Court from Over the Cap. He's been a guest on the show in the past. He does a great job of projecting. I think he has gotten closest to figuring out the NFL's compensatory pick formula to figure out what it's going to be. So Nick Court, Lance Zierlein of NFL.com are now making their projections of what each team is going to receive in draft compensation. So if you're scoring at home, remember, the Saints lost David Onyemata, Marcus Davenport, Shai Tuttle, Kentavious Street, Caden Ellis, Justin Evans, Ethan Greenidge, Marquez Callaway, Deontay Hardy, Andy Dalton. So the Saints lost a bunch to free agency, and they only signed Nathan Shepard, Colin Saunders, and Jamal Williams. So the Saints are going to be compensated for their free agent losses. And you're capped at 4 compensatory picks, so you can't receive more than 4. As of right now, again, according to Nick Court from Over the Cap, the Saints are going to receive a 4th-round pick for Marcus Davenport, a 4th-round pick for David Onyemata, and a 6th-round compensatory pick for Caden Ellis. So it looks like the Saints are going to receive 3 compensatory picks. I want to remind you, the Saints have already traded several of their picks for next year. Part of the Sean Payton deal, they sent a 3rd-rounder to Denver, so the Saints do not have a 3rd-rounder next year. They spent a 4th-rounder in a deal with Jacksonville to move up in this most recent draft. And remember when they traded in 2021 for Mark Ingram to get him from Houston, they traded their 7th-rounder for this upcoming draft. So they don't have that 7th-round pick as the Mark Ingram deal 2 years ago. Anyway, to boil it all down, the Saints will have their 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick from Denver with the Sean Payton deal, 2 4s, the compensatory picks for Davenport and Onyemata, a 5, and then 3 6s. They'll have their 6th, a 6th from Philadelphia as part of the trade last year, and then a 6 for Caden Ellis. So a 1, a 2, 2 4s, a 5, and 3 6s. The Saints will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 draft picks again in next year's draft. So the most obvious thing to look at here with that much compensation, keeping in mind, remember what Mickey Loomis said. Remember what Mickey Loomis said just a few weeks ago before the draft, their philosophy about trading up or trading back.
When you have a conviction, if you love somebody and you go get them, that's the preferred policy, I guess, that I like. Find somebody you love and go get them. And if you think you can get them where you're at, then you stay where you're at. I just feel like the philosophy of trading back means that if you really believe in your board and you believe how it's going to fall, is that you're moving back to get a lesser player. That's just kind of the premise that we have. It's not to say that we wouldn't move back, but that's the philosophy here.
They of course they move back. Of course they wouldn't move back. They've never moved back, so they're not going to move back. The question obviously becomes, with this type of draft capital, where you have a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick that you got from Denver, 2 4s, a 5, and 3 6s, and then future draft compensation as well, is next year the year where the Saints might be interested in trading up to take a quarterback in a year in which everybody is going to want Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix, and who knows who else may emerge in time. Next year's draft looks like a bumper crop of quarterbacks in the draft. So if you're a quarterback-needy team, next year might be the year to go get him. What would it take for the Saints to go up? I'll remind you that Tampa Bay, who was 8-9 this past year, but won the division, Tampa Bay picked 19th in the draft. So I asked Muse to take a look at recent draft trades and what it would take to go from, let's say, mid-teens, upper teens, into, say, the top 5 to get one of the best picks in the draft. So, Muse, all right, I'm curious what you found. And I didn't want to know, so I'm going to learn this for off the cuff. Muse did the research. He's going to present it, and we'll decide if this would feel like deals worth doing. And I love the primetime music.
That reading it's so good. God, it's so good.
I like playing the mouth horn.
It's a good mouth horn.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so there's a couple different scenarios I found that are similar.
You crushed my aha. You stepped all over my aha.
Want to do it again?
No.
Okay.
You killed the vibe is what you just did.
Let's start with the...
Got it in.
Okay. I thought you were gonna crush me for stepping on it again. So the Rams have done this a couple different times in scenarios that would match what the Saints might do. Obviously, the most notable is 2016 when they went from number 15 to number 1 to get Jared Goff.
They went from 15
From
to
number
1.
15 to 1. That took 6 picks.
All right, 6 picks. Wait, hang on right now. All right, go ahead. What did they give?
They pick swapped and gave up number 15, 2 2s, 1 3, and then 2017's 1 and 3. So all in total, 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 3s. That was to go from 15 to 1 for Jared Goff.
Now, it didn't work, obviously.
They got a Super Bowl. Well, they went to a Super Bowl.
To a Super Bowl, but they ended up trading.
They ended up trading.
Now,
him. Yes.
the trade that worked, obviously, was trading Goff to Detroit for Stafford
that
to
was
ultimately
brilliant.
get him over the hump. Okay, what else you got?
In 2013, so 3 years before that, the Rams went from number 16.
Rams did it twice.
They went from number 16 up to number 8.
Okay.
That took 4 picks, all in the 2013 draft. A 1, a 2, a 3, and a 7.
Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat. To go to,
and you could find a quarterback at 8.
Oh, well, you know what?
Potentially.
Go up 8 spots, a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 7. Huh? Who did they get? Who was that?
Did not write that down. I can find it real quick for you, though, because I can go back to the website I was at.
2013 draft?
Yeah, 2013 draft.
Oh, man. All right.
I know. I went through so many drafts. I cannot remember everybody who I saw. Okay,
I think that's right. This says they took Tavon Austin in round 1. Not a. Oh, but so they did take. So this wasn't to get a quarterback.
No. This was just moving up from the mid-teens.
Okay, I was asking for quarterbacks. Okay, but
quarterbacks only? You want quarterbacks only?
They went up to get Tavon Austin.
Yeah. How about that?
That's why I couldn't remember. I'm like, they went to get a quarterback. Okay, go ahead.
This one is a quarterback. In 2009, the Jets traded for Mark Sanchez.
Oh, this is Sanchez. Yeah.
The Sanchez. They went from 17 to 5.
Okay, so this would be really comparable.
Really comparable.
Okay.
Now, they included players in this, though. 3 players and 2 picks. Kenyon Coleman, Brett Ratcliffe, Abram Elam, 09's 1 and 09's 2. So 3 players, a 1 and a 2 to go from 17 to 5, and that's when they drafted Mark Sanchez.
Here's the problem. The Saints don't have the players. They don't have the players to do something like that.
And then,
but 17 to 5 feels very, very doable if the right player is there, and maybe in this upcoming
There's
draft.
2 more.
Okay, all right.
You mentioned the Buccaneers winning the division at 8-9, picking 19.
Quick reset for those just joining us. Again, we're running through potential draft scenarios where teams have gone from mid-upper teens into, say, the top 5, which the Saints, now with these compensatory picks, would likely have enough draft capital to do. Okay, go ahead.
So you mentioned the Buccaneers there. They were 8-9, won the division, picked 19th. We're going to go back a little bit here. In 1990, the Colts picked 20th. But they moved up from 20 to number 1. They drafted Jeff George. It was terrible.
This was Jeff George.
Yes.
The Jeff George trade.
2 players, 2 picks. All-pro guard in Chris Hinton and a wide receiver in Andre Rison.
Andre Rison, yeah.
A 5 in next year's 1. Again, we mentioned the players the Saints don't have, but I thought that was comparable because of the Buccaneers going from 20 up to number 1. 1990, it's a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long time ago. This one, but it's one of the most recent. The Niners, when they went from 12 to number 3 for Trey Lance.
For Lance, okay.
They gave up 3 1s. 3 1s to the Dolphins and a 3. So 4 picks to go from 12 to 3.
3 1s, huh?
The interesting part about this, the Dolphins never picked on those 1s. One of them was traded in was Micah Parsons, the Cowboys.
Okay.
They traded the other one, and then the most recent one was the 30th pick in this year's draft, which of course they vacated. They traded 3. They traded 3 1s, bro. 3 1s and never picked.
Oh,
they never picked one of them.
Wow. Well, what did the Micah Parsons pick become?
That was number 12.
No, I get it, but what did that become for them? They traded that for something. What did they get with the assets from Dallas?
I think they...
That's... Wow. What a find.
Yeah, I found that, and I was like, I have to mention that at some point.
Oh, man. Miami. What is you doing? Oh, no. Well, that explains how you end up in 2 decades of misery.
Yeah. I mean, it does. It's... Oh, here it is. What
3
we were looking at,
and they didn't even get a quarterback.
That was, I said, 2021. Here, I can figure out where they picked, though, in the draft. So they ended up They ended up at 6. They did pick the first round in 2021 at number 6. And they got Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
man, it just goes to show you the draft is such a crapshoot. And I know that everybody's going to push back on me and say, well, you're the one who wants him to trade up and take a quarterback. Yes, I do, because I trust the Saints' ability to scout, and I know you're not winning without a quarterback. So give me a quarterback. You know what? Maybe that person, Muse, maybe that person is Jake Haener. Somebody let Hanny know.
No, don't tell Hanny. Don't tell Hanny.
He's going to be Drew Brees. How good was that cut from Hanny?
It was beautiful. It really was.
He's
it was classic Hanny. Classic Hanny.
He's 6 feet tall. He's really accurate. He wears number 9. He's not going to be Drew Brees. He's never going to throw for 80,000 yards in a career. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go follow 1045 ESPN on TikTok or Instagram, or you go look at the Reels or the TikTok. Or you'll see the TikTok is like at 300,000 views of Hanny going, he's 6 feet tall. He wears number 9. He's really accurate. What else does he say? He's a good athlete.
Yeah.
He's thrown for a lot of yards.
A lot of yards, yeah. He's not Drew Brees.
He's not Drew Brees. He's not going to throw for 80,000 yards. He might be a starting quarterback one day. He's never going to be Drew Brees.
He's a beauty.
He's free!
Yeah.
All right. I got to go to break. If they posted the starting lineup yet, Muse, for tonight, have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I also was looking at draft stuff.
All right. We'll either get it from Twitter or Alondra, if you would, get us the starting lineup for tonight's ball game. It's posted. Okay, good. We'll go through the LSU starting lineup tonight against Northwestern State. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. I love sharing great 5-star Google reviews. This one came from Jeff Porter. Said, John Leo did a great job getting my AC ready for summer. I've used River City's 1 Hour Air for several years and have always received excellent service. Another 5-star Google review. The one I read yesterday, however, the person who left the review, his son messaged me and was like, that was my dad. You're actually reading real people's reviews. Yes, you think I'm lying? These are actual people's 5-star Google reviews for River City's 1 Hour Air. Look, you can go read the reviews for yourself. More than double the amount of 5-star reviews of the next closest competitor. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town, and that's the proof you need that people trust River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, lineup is posted for LSU and Northwestern State tonight at the box. Otterlocks, by the way, about 10 minutes from right now, find out we're betting on an Otter hit on the Miami Heat last night. His best bet of the night hit. Thank you, Otter.
Lock of the week.
We needed the lock of the week. You better believe we needed that lock of the week. Oh, boy. That DraftKings account was getting a little lean after the past few weeks.
A lot of red.
Okay. LSU against Northwestern State. Here we go. Gavin Dugas in the lineup batting leadoff. He'll play second, bat leadoff. Trey Morgan in the 2-hole. Dylan Cruz will bat third and playing center. Tommy White batting cleanup, playing third. Cade Beloso batting fifth, DHing. Hayden Travinski gets the start behind the dish. He'll bat sixth. Bottom third of the lineup, Jared Jones will bat seventh and play first. Braden Jobert in right field will bat eighth. And then Jordan Thompson playing shortstop and batting ninth. So Dugas, Morgan, Cruz, White, Beloso, Travinski, Jones, Jobert, Thompson. And also of note, Thatcher Hurd gets the ball for LSU tonight. Do you still have the Jay Johnson cut from yesterday pulled up? This is what Jay Johnson said just Monday, meeting with the media, when he was asked point blank, could you see Thatcher Hurd going back to the Game 3 starting role?
I like him pitching the way he's been pitching the last few times, and that was an excellent performance on Friday night, and so I don't have the answer to that yet without looking at Mississippi State yet, we have a game tomorrow, so we'll evaluate that, but he'll be on the mound. He'll be one of the key guys, and I think with the way he's pitching, that's going to be good for us.
So I think we've kind of workshopped this a little bit as you try to figure out the direction they may go. I think we all agree, right, that you can't run Christian Little back out there again in Game 3. So your best options right now would either be Thatcher Hurd, Gavin Guidry, both of whom have finished games for you in the sort of quasi-closer role. But you have Jay Johnson there. When asked point blank, could Thatcher Hurd go be your Sunday guy? He said, well, I like him. His first reaction was, I like him in the role he's in. So that would make sense that Gavin Guidry would probably be the guy. Now, Guidry's not available tonight. He threw 60-some-odd pitches on Sunday when nobody could get an out in the first inning. So he's not going to be available today, nor should he be, obviously. So we'll see if they let Hurd extend tonight or if this is, hey, take the ball, go get me 3 outs, and then pass it on to who's next. So how long of a leash, how much do they let Hurd go into tonight's ball game? But when you look at how tonight's going to play out, they're going to throw Thatcher Hurd. They'll throw Blake Money. My guess is they'll throw Will Helmers. Micah Bucknam is going to go. But you also heard Jay say that everybody except Skeens, Guidry, Cooper, who they had to extend over the weekend, and then Javen Coleman because they're being very tentative with how they work him back. Everyone's available, which means you probably see Ackenhausen tonight. I would imagine you're going to see Ackenhausen tonight. Do you see Bryce Collins tonight? Probably. You got everybody. So if you want to do this deal where it's, hey, everybody gets an inning, like you could do that. But you want to go out there and get a win tonight. They're probably going to piecemeal this thing together on the mound, but Hurd's going to get the start. I'll be fascinated to see, A, how he does, and B, how long he goes. Still got to believe if Jay likes Thatcher Hurd at the end of the ball game, do they stick with Hurd in that closer role and Dugas maybe as your Game 3 guy? Or do they just leave Game 3 TBD, which would certainly be an option going into the weekend? You leave Game 3 TBD, you do what you got to do to win the first 2 games and see what your best option is available for Game 3. Tigers tonight, we are about 45 minutes away from first pitch against Northwestern State. Hey, if you're in the market for a vehicle, South Point Volkswagen, love telling you about them every single day. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. I'm a Volkswagen driver and have been for a decade now. First Volkswagen that I owned was Erica had a Passat. When Drew was born, we got her an SUV. I drove the Passat. Then drove a CC, which I loved. Now they make the Arteon, sporty, stylish sports car, sporty sedan. And then went to the Atlas and now drive the Atlas Cross Sport. Every vehicle that I've driven have some commonalities. Fun to drive, great performance, great gas mileage, safety features, and great technology. You get the style, the feel, the performance of luxury without the cost. That's what you get with a Volkswagen from South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highlander, SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, Otters coming up. We'll do Otter locks, find out what the Otters got tonight. I need to check on the rest of it from last night. So I wonder, Muse, if this is a situation where the Otter, not having done his show last night, just throwing out some picks, maybe the surgery on his hand cleared his head a bit?
Could have, yeah. Sure. I don't see why not.
So he gave us the Heat as his best bet.
We know that hit.
Gave us the Cubs laying 130. But he gave us the Rangers on the money line plus 145, and the Rangers did, in fact, beat the Mariners 2-1. Nice night for the Otter.
It's 2-1 and a plus money winner there? I mean, he might be thinking clearly.
Is the Otter heating up? Did all he need was a little painkillers to go do this surgery?
I was about to say, do we get nervous now if he's like back doing a show tonight and stinks again?
I don't know. You tell me, what's it like whenever you're doing mind-bending drugs? How does it affect your ability?
I wouldn't know.
Sure.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Sure, no. Okay, got it.
Mind bending. No, I can't say that I'm familiar.
So just your normal standard drugs is what you stick with?
Alcohol, yeah.
Little ganja?
No.
Little weed? Little herb? Mary Jane? Marijuana?
No.
Got it.
Puff the Magic Dragon?
Panama Red. Otter Locks is next. AFR.
AFR.
Hey, we're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Sunday is Mother's Day. Go take care of Mom with a gift at Clegg's Nursery. Our family tradition is the Saturday before Mother's Day. We always go to the Clegg's right there in Seagan, and Erica gets to pick out all the flowers and everything she wants, and I can't complain, and I have to go back to the house and help her plant all of them. So that's Erica's Mother's Day Saturday every year. So Saturday, you'll know where to find me. Sometime late Saturday morning, early Saturday afternoon, we'll be at Clegg's on Seagan. Erica will be the one with like the push cart just full of flowers falling out, just so many flowers all over. And then, I'll curse under my breath. But nonetheless, Clegg's is the spot, man. Gorgeous, beautiful flowers, full greenhouses. If you need mulch, if you need soil, they got it, bulk or bagged. If you want great gifts for Mom, they got gift cards if you're not sure what to buy. Just get her something at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, tell them I sent you into Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. and backed by the one-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment on a Tuesday edition of AFR. One thing left to do, let's find out we're betting on tonight. Back a victorious Jimmy Ott.
Otterlocks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only incomparable and incomprehensible, the Ott father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how's that hand feeling, man?
It's doing good. Doing fine. Over here, Mike Anderson's ready for a little salad. Nice crowd already on a Tuesday night.
All right.
Good to be back.
Well, it's good to be back, and it's good to be back off a winning night for the Otter. Give me that ding.
Yes.
Give me that ding.
Helps. That does help.
Yes.
So the Heat took care of business. Home teams now, Matt, in the second round against the spread, 14-4. A lot of public money on the Knicks and especially on the Warriors last night. Both the higher seeds trying to avoid falling down 3-1. The desperate angle has been mostly profitable during this NBA postseason, but not last night, as both teams extended their lead into one game from elimination. Tonight's matchup, well, the home team, and what I'm banking on here is I thought the Celtics let one get away. They come all the way back. Embiid, I thought they wore him down in the fourth quarter. He could not get his shot off just with single coverage by 42-year-old Al Horford. And Jaylen Brown made a mistake going off a hot shooting Harden. I'm banking on Harden not being so hot this time. And I just think that Philly does not have a real it's a real way to stop Boston offensively. Going with not super strong, but Boston minus 7.5 in the first game. Second game, this line has moved up. Smart action on the Denver Nuggets. This is all home team. First two straight up and against the spread by the Nuggets. Next two straight up and against the spread by Phoenix. Phoenix has been the poorest bench production in all the playoffs. But they are up for 41 points. They tried to get the ball up and down a little bit quicker without Chris Paul. Chris Paul kind of slows it down when he's in the game. But 41 points, including 19 from Shamet. I'm banking against that. And how about Booker? He only shot 78% from the field. I'm more of I'm going to say that's going to revert to the mean. I'm going to go with a bigger sample size.
Okay.
He's been outstanding, but Denver at home on the 6.5. So both home teams, both chalk. Not usually my favorite, but in the postseason when it counts, a pivotal game 5, I'm going to the better teams at home to take care of business tonight.
Anything in Major League Baseball?
Shohei Ohtani, he's the man this year. How about that? These guys in the American League in a contract year. Pretty
1
good
minute
year.
remaining.
Judge last year. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now. In a lot of strikes, a lot of walks. Well, that gets his pitch count up. So I'm not crazy about that bullpen. But first 5 is a modest minus 150. Astros just starting to get a few players back, but not quite yet, like Michael Brantley and Altuve. Ohtani, first 5, minus 150.
Okay.
And then the White Sox on the road against a hot Giolito. We read him last time. His overall numbers are not that strong, but he looks like he's getting into form now. Minus 1.5, minus 110. White Sox minus the run line, minus 110. And Ohtani, first 5, minus 150.
All right, Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Thank you, Otter.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, man. Have a great night. Have a great show. Alondra, appreciate you for being here, filling in for Paulie all week. Muse, thanks to you as well. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Getting on down the road. Remind you about Mold Zero USA. Mold-ZeroUSA.com. My goodness, if you're driving around town today or really around any part of Louisiana, you have most likely been hit by these terrible storms that have come through. There is rain in the forecast quite literally every day through the weekend. Rain plus humidity breeds mold. If you have mold, think you might have mold. If you have a water issue, call Mold Zero. They'll come in, a patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. If you're not sure about it, you want to learn more, y'all, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has done an extensive survey of this treatment. You can read if you want to read it for yourself, you can read the results of the survey at their homepage. Just scroll down, you see the link for the Army Corps of Engineers report. Totally safe for you, your family, your pets. Minimally invasive. You're not cutting sheetrock, quicker, and will cost thousands less than traditional remediation methods. It's Mold Zero. Mold-ZeroUSA.com. Mold-ZeroUSA.com.
$0 over MSRP at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. That's right. Don't pay over MSRP. There's no markups, no games. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.